It is finally time to react to you guys' Skylander hot takes. So roughly 3 months ago, I put up this community post you guys see right here. 3 months ago, wanting you guys to comment your guys' Skylander hot takes so I could react to them, see what's unpopular opinions pretty much. Ended up in a lot of arguments in the comments, but that's where the fun's at. Opinions never hurt anybody, right? Right. Anyways, let's get to reacting to these. We got a lot, so this might actually end up being like a 3-part video. We'll see. All right. Glasses are on, you know, those blue light reducing glasses, so I don't get a headache reading all of these. All right, hot take number 1. There should have been core Skylanders in games 5 and 6. Just because they did it in the past, I think so too. Imaginators, no, I don't agree, because the Imaginators, like the crystals, are like the main Skylander. So the senseis are more so the cores. So I'm going to go no on the 6th game. And then 5, yeah, there was no cores. But supercharges are required to beat the game. Like, you literally can't progress once you get to that little, what is it, sharp fin or whatever? Like, he has you go into the little upgrade thing. You can't pass it unless you have a supercharger. So having cores would kind of be tough right there. All right, next hot take is by Lizzie Perry, a member of the channel. Thank you for that. Glumshanks should have gotten a sensei figure, as he is the best NPC in the series, or at least been capturable in Trap Team. I agree, but I'm not sure what movesets they would have given him. Like, what's he good for? He would have been like tech, probably. Unless, like, he could pull a Pop Fizz and turn it into evilized Glumshanks from SWAT Force. But I don't know. I think that would be tough. It would be cool to see, but I think it would be really tough because he doesn't have, like, anything going for him. All right, this next one's by Carol. Sprocket is actually a very good Skylander, especially on the turret path. And most people hate her because they simply didn't take enough time to learn how to play with her. Now, I'm not going to say Sprocket is a very good Skylander. I think she's an average Skylander, but I don't think she's as bad as people say. I just think she's super boring. That's the big thing for me, and I think a lot of people just find her boring, so they don't want to use her regardless if she's good or not. Also, the turret path is the worst of the two, I will say that. The combo path, way better. The mines are her best move. But regardless, she's an average Skylander, and I don't think she deserves the hate that she gets, but at the same time, I understand it because she is very boring. All right, next one here is by Matthew. In Skylanders Giants, the Willikin Village chapter is more interesting and memorable than the Rapping Drill chapter. You mean Drill X? You just called him the Rapping Drill? Anyways, the former has a more interesting gimmick in the form of the switching between 2 stages, which inverts the damaging magic blobs into healing magic and vice versa, which is also used to spice up the boss battle with the Chompy Mage. Drill X's stage is generic, and his boss battle has nothing interesting other than the rapping part going for him. And his boss battle is too long and drawn out as well due to his insane health gauge. Drill X is just more enjoyable. I like that boss fight personally. There's 3 different stages to it. It's not really repetitive. On Nightmare Mode, it can get repetitive, but you got to stay alive on Nightmare Mode. That's the thing. It's not the hardest boss fight. I will say the Willikin Village is a fantastic chapter. It's probably... Those 2 are probably in the top 3 most nostalgic. I think Oracle is number 1. Oracle, the soundtrack alone. But Willikin Village and Drill X are like the 3 most nostalgic levels. But I wouldn't say Drill X's level is bad. I do enjoy the level a lot. I think there's a lot to do in the level. Lots of enemies. But I do understand where you're coming from. Willikin Village is probably a better level overall. And Chompy Mage is definitely a better boss fight. But enjoyable-wise, Drill X is just more fun. Also, the nostalgia of him rapping throughout the level and then rapping throughout the boss fight. That's why it stuck with so many people. But, I mean, that's also why the Chompy Mage stuck with so many people, because he's so unique, and people love the Chompy Mage. I love the Chompy Mage. Anyways, on to the next. All right, here we got from The Real Doom Singer. Blastermine is a good Skylander. On medium difficulty, yes. All right, this next one is by DJ Digby. Imaginators has some very underrated adventure packs. Do you consider Elemental Realms expansion packs because you have to have a certain Skylander to get them? That's how they feel to me. I know they're not technically expansion packs, or adventure packs, but they kind of are. But no, I do understand where you're coming from, but they aren't my favorite. I don't know. I think they are the best out of like the series of expansion packs. Yeah, because Trap Team, I really don't like the light or the dark. Mirror of Mystery and Nightmare Express are awesome. Nightmare Express is my favorite adventure pack out of any of the games. But SSA has some really good ones too for its time. They haven't really aged well, but at the time they were great. But I do understand what you're saying. They are very underrated and nobody talks about them, and they should. Here we got Dodo. Don't know if it has been said before, but ... If they were to make a new game or a reboot, very unlikely, it would differ too much from the originals to reach a younger generation, or it would just be a nostalgia bait for original fans. I can agree with this. I really can. If they mess things up, I could make a whole video out of future ideas for Skylanders. I talk about it in like VC in my Discord all the time with my friends. We'll just come up with random storylines that sound so cool, like features and gimmicks and stuff we just brainstorm that I could easily turn into videos. But I'm not going to ramble on here, but I do understand what you're saying 100%. And you see it in modern media today. Modern movies, biggest gimmick stuff ever. It started with No Way Home. I loved No Way Home, don't get me wrong. But when they brought back Toby and Andrew, that just started the chain of movies bringing back previous characters, because people grew up with that as their childhood hero. Like Michael Keaton returning as Batman, and Indiana Jones is coming back too. Like, so many shows are bringing back previous people as just a nostalgia bait. And Skylanders would probably be the same thing if they didn't do it correctly. Here we got Shazam. Where's my powers? Anywho, personally, I love Imaginators. The ability to make your own Skylander is just amazing. To me, the fact that you get to customize almost everything down to the catchphrase and voice is just brilliant. I agree. The customization of the physical look of the Imaginators is the best part. It's the abilities that is lacking. It's very streamlined because a lot of abilities are better than the rest. You end up with like a bunch of Imaginators with the same abilities that just look different. All right, this next one is from Mind Corey. We got Drill Sergeant and Ghost Roaster are really good Skylanders. I'm gonna stop you there. Drill Sergeant, really good in Spyro's Adventure and good in Giants. After that, don't use him. Ghost Roaster, pretty good in Spyro's Adventure until you get to Chaos. Good luck. If you could beat Chaos SSA with Ghost Roaster, I want to see it because I can't do it. I'll wave the white flag. I couldn't do it. No way. But anyways, let's continue. I mostly hear people dislike them, but Drill Sergeant is really fun to play as and is fairly effective to me. And Ghost Roaster is just Bash, but what Bash lacks in, Ghost Roaster makes up for. Stop you there. Bash does way more damage. I will say that. Way more damage. The speed move, I understand, but Ghost Roaster hurts himself with an ability. If you go that path, it's amazing in PvP, but in the story mode, it's kind of crappy. And his main attack is nowhere near as good as Bash's. Also, I don't really know if this is the hot take, but I don't really consider SSA characters as cores because the gimmick of that game was Toys to Life, and it feels weird to me to call them cores. Yeah, no, I wouldn't call them cores either. They are the gimmick. Toys to Life is the gimmick for Spyro's Adventure. There's no cores in Spyro's Adventure. They are just the Skylanders. All right, here we got Sonic. Sonic the Eagle. Oh, the E's run together. All right. I never knew Wrecking Ball and Warnado had a Series 1 and 2 version and could be used in SSA. Okay, Wrecking Ball has a Series 2, but Warnado does not. Warnado has a light core. It's not a Series 2. It's from Swap Force. Also, I had the most fun playing SSA, and I'm guessing that's Giants? No, no. I don't know what that abbreviation is for. Because of the ice levels and how you need water flying Skylanders to swim. That is one thing I really miss. Spyro's Adventure, and I don't think you do it at all in Giants. Maybe in the lava levels you can fly over the lava. I don't know, but they totally eliminated the ability to swim or like the usefulness of flying past Giants. So I do miss that. I do understand what you're saying there. All right, here we got Total Justice. You got 2 hot takes for me. Okay, in one comment. I like it when people do that. All right, there should have been a Magic Doom Raider, either Painata or Mesmerelda. Should have been Mesmerelda, 1000%. Hot take number 2, the Core of Light should have never been moved to the Academy in Superchargers. Yeah, I don't understand. That's where the disconnect gets me with Superchargers. Superchargers doesn't, it connects, but doesn't connect to the previous games. I don't know why they would have moved it if it was in a safe location. Well, safe location. But I don't know why they would have moved it to the Academy. I mean, maybe it's because all the Skylanders were there and they trusted that, you know, they were going to protect it there. Whereas in the ruins, nothing's there. So it didn't really explain why it got moved. But I understand the confusion, but I don't know why it got moved, so I can't say it should have never been moved. They just didn't go into depth on the story. All right, this next comment is by Rainstorm Riddles. Not sure if this is a hot take so much as something I do that I would make people cry on the inside. Okay, what are you about to hit me with? But I take my Blackout Spotlight, Bronze Bone Bash Roller Brawl and Tomb Buggy, and as of today, my Green Thrillipede to work and let a bunch of 3, 4, and 5-year-olds play with them, along with my other Skylanders. So I guess my hot take is that I think Skylanders should be played with no matter how rare. I 1000% understand this. I understand this. There's like many different types of collectors or players. I understand. If you're a collector and you want to keep them in pristine condition, so you have the most expensive collection. I get it. I was there too. I've done it before. But I have came to the realization, I understand this, and I actually understood a few weeks back because I'm actually opening an eBay shop where I'm selling a lot of my stuff. Because I recently had, this is what I'm keeping. This is pretty much it. I have so much more Skylanders that were just in my closet, in the top, not getting used, just packed away. And then like I open my closet and I look inside and I'm like, this is a disgrace. Like I don't want to be this collector that just holds on and doesn't use them. So I have an eBay shop I'm going to be selling very soon. So keep an eye open. I'm getting rid of a lot of stuff. But I understand this. That's really sweet of you. And that's honestly awesome that you're introducing it to a new generation. Even if they're 3, 4, and 5 and they probably won't remember very well. But kudos to you. You're awesome. All right, this next one's by Shiro the Noodle. Hot take. Swap Force was peak Skylanders. Trap Team was the worst in my opinion. Okay, there's 4 replies. I'm not even gonna click on it. The main gimmick from Trap Team was Skylanders having crystal weapons, but I felt like the moment you took those away, they were useless. All right, Swap Force is my favorite game. Yes. Is it the best Skylanders game? I don't know. That's up to opinion. Swap Force offers the most to do, but it's not the best Skylanders game. Even growing up, I did not like, I almost said hated. I really didn't like Swap Force. Never beat it. I didn't like it. It felt so different from the original games. I think peak Skylanders is Spyro's Adventure and Giants. That was peak. Those two going, they led straight into each other. The story was like linear, made sense. They one game to another made sense. The Skylanders, like that's Skylanders. When I play those 2 games, I get the feeling like, oh, I'm playing Skylanders. Like the rest of the games are great, don't get me wrong, but it just not the same feeling. So I think peak Skylanders is actually, for me, Spyro's Adventure and Giants. But Trap Team being the worst, it is my least favorite game just because I played, plug your ears, kids, I played the shit out of it. I played it so much as a kid. It was my favorite game, and I played it so much to the point where I'm tired of it. I don't really want to play it anymore, unless I like playing it as a challenge, like if I want to, live stream a lock or, make videos for a lock or something like that, and I want to challenge myself, great. Other than that, I have played everything there is to do in that game so many times. I've just played it so many times. But it doesn't mean it's the worst. It's just the one that I want to play the least. The worst, in my opinion, I don't even know. Probably Imaginators, to be honest. It probably would be Imaginators. Just because of the story. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, the story doesn't impact anything. Yes, it does. That's the reason why you play the game. But anyways, I understand what you say. I appreciate your opinion. All right, we got William Edis, winner of the last members only giveaway. And obviously a member. So thank you, William, for being a member. Green Chompy Mage is the rarest non-chase variant, not Robo. I'm listening. Robo is usually people's #1 rarest Skylander, but I believe that Chompy Mage, although occasionally and probably on average cheaper than Robo, appears significantly less than Robo. Yeah. I mean, I don't see listings really for Green Chompy Mage, and he is like $200 these days. I will say price does not mean rarity. They do go hand in hand a lot, but not always. Robo is the most expensive, probably non-chase variant. Yeah, he's got to be. He's like $250, $300. I've seen him go for $500 new in box. It's crazy. Green Chompy Mage you can get for like $150, $200. Really expensive Skylanders, but you're right. If I search eBay, I bet you I could find more Robos than Green Chompy Mages. You're not wrong there. I understand. All right, now we have Chompy Boy. Hot take. Sunburn should have gotten a Series 2. And then I would have stopped playing Skylanders. That's a disgrace. Ugh, gross. What? Why would you want 2 of him? I have 2 Series 1s, and I'm trying to get rid of the second one because he's so bad. This next one is by, I already read it. This is Freeze Flame. Is Rufus worth talking to every trip back to Woodboro? No. Rufus, be quiet. I've been here 900 times. Every time I spawn in, it does not mean that you need to go, welcome back to Woodboro. It's just, I understand. It's really annoying. This one's by Spiked Menace. Hot take, Skylanders Imaginators is still a great game and is my 3rd favorite in the franchise. Agree, 100%. And honestly, it might be my 3rd favorite too. SWAT Force, I put SSA and Giants, like they're yin and yang. Because they feel like the same game, like leading into each other. And then I'd probably put Imaginators 3rd. So yeah, or 4th, 3rd or 4th. But I agree with that, 100%. Next one is by It's Pizza Box. I believe that if we ever get more games in the future, they should drop the figure gimmick. I actually agree. I actually pitched an idea to my friends, and they love the idea. I might make a video out of it. I don't know. I have so many like ideas that just kind of always in my head. It's always the useless information that gets stuck in my head. But I agree. I think they should drop the gimmick. I have reasoning, but you know. On to the next. Next one's by Human Being, another Blastermind comment. Blastermind isn't that bad. No, he's not that bad. He's just super weak. So weak. And really lacking health. So he doesn't last that long. But other than that, he's a creative Skylander. I will give you that. But that doesn't make him a good Skylander. All right, Andrew. Drobot is the most overpowered thing that exists. Pretty much. In Inspire's Adventure, him and Gilgrunt, if you go the hose path, is just... They obliterate everything. And I will go right now. I've said it a million times. Gilgrunt is better than Drobot in Inspire's Adventure. And it's kind of obvious if you know how to use them correctly. Drobot is fantastic. Don't get me wrong. He's like a mass destruction. But he only has one move that can really do a lot for you. Gilgrunt has all 3, and you can use them all 3 at once. So that's where the fun happens, and that's when you could just take out bosses in less than like 20 seconds. You know, fun. Here we got Archean. Imaginators is the easiest game to 100%. Easiest. Yeah. Yeah. Supercharged is the hardest. Because there's no percentage. You just have to find what you're not doing. But SWAT Force is a lot of content though. No, SWAT Force is the hardest. With all of like the swap zones and everything. Yeah, SWAT Force is the hardest. Imaginators is probably the easiest. There's a lot to do, but what you do is easy. So yeah, I can agree with that. Either that or Spire's Adventure. Not a lot of levels. Things are pretty linear. Yeah. This one's by Bowman Jennings. Hot take. The SWAT Force was the best Skylanders gimmick. Yeah, I would say it's the best gimmick, and it sold the best, which says a lot. It says a lot about Giants that people wanted to play the next game. But I think the Swap Force is the best creative gimmick. It's also probably the most underutilized gimmick. That's what makes it fall down. But yes, I do think it's the best gimmick. All right, here we got Splash Shot, a member. Thank you for being a member. I personally think that Grim Creeper from Swap Force and Hot Dog from Giants are super underrated, and Superchargers is overhated. Okay, let's take part by part. All right, Grim Creeper and Hot Dog, underrated. Agreed. I don't think anybody really hates Hot Dog. Hot Dog is good on any path. I like him on the wall path better. Grim Creeper is good. He's good. He's not great, but he's good. And Superchargers is overhated. I don't think people hate Swap Force. I just think they don't like it. Like, Superchargers touched a certain audience where, like, I don't care for Superchargers, but I know it's a great game. But, like, people who say they hate it, it just means that they just don't like it. Like, it's just not for them. It's just like, it's not for me. I play it, but it's not for me. I like the other Skylander games better. Next one's by Alex. Hex is a decent Skylander. Yeah, her moveset is questionable, but her design is pretty decent. I don't think anything about her moves are questionable. She makes a lot of sense for Spyro's Adventure. You got to think. Spyro's Adventure characters are simplistic because the game is simplistic. Combat's easy until you get to the Chaos Boss fight. Even that's pretty easy, but it depends what Skylander you're using. But Hex is a very good Skylander. I think she's very good. She's very, very powerful with her Series 2 in Giants. Do like 900 damage when that skull rains down. It's crazy. I do like her skull rain move. Yes, it takes a while to charge up, but they kind of like heat-seeking missiles for enemies, and it like kind of has splash damage. The bones are amazing. They do damage when enemies hit them. If you guys haven't, use Series 2 Hex, or you can use Series 1 Hex. Here's Series 2 is just better, but use her in Giants. Against the like Archeans, that Archean last few levels, she is so useful because the Archeans will walk into her spiky bones and then they'll just keep getting damage, and you can keep using your orbs and do double damage, and then you can even like charge up your stuff. It's great. I used her during my Series 2 lock a while back. You guys can go back to that if you want and see that she dominated that little area. I think she died eventually, but you know, it was Nightmare Giants. It's like the second hardest game. Here we got Twisted Slop. Okay. Superchargers was too gimmicky for it to actually work. Well, it worked. It worked enough to get them another game in Imaginators, but like I said before, it's just for a certain audience. Here we got another one by DJ Digby. Superchargers has more unique bosses than Trap Team. Well, there's only one hand-to-hand combat boss fight in Superchargers, and it's Chaos, and it's the easiest Chaos fight in the world. You can complete it with literally anyone. But no, I will say no. They're well, unique over amount. Okay. I'm trying to think. You got like Count Moneybone. You got the one where you're tiny. No, I still think no. Trap Team boss fights are the best thing about the game and also the worst thing about the game because they are insanely hard on Nightmare mode, but they are insanely cool. So, yeah. Here we got Krember. Trap Team is a better gimmick, or has a better gimmick than Swap Force. It's not a better gimmick, but they're both utilized. Actually, no. Trap Team is utilized more. The Trap Team is utilized more, but it's not a cooler gimmick. Unless, what do you consider the gimmick? Do you consider the Trap Masters the gimmick or the Traps the gimmick? I would consider it to be the Traps because it's Trap Team. It's not Trap Master Team. I don't know. I still think Swap Force is the better gimmick, but Trap Team gets utilized more in breaking Traptanium, being able to enter elemental gates, which is stupid that it's only them and the cores can't, which is really stupid. They just made something that's so the Trap Team could feel useful pretty much. But it's more utilized, but it's not better. Here we got Firebone Cohen. Eruptor is a good / underrated Skylander. Yeah, I think he's overhated. I used to not like him very much, but that was mostly because That was when I first started YouTube, and I was watching tons of Skylander content, and people were telling me not to like things. And then I played for myself, gave him time, and then I think he's fine. So if you learn anything from this video, don't be a sponge. Everything that I say and everything I have an opinion on does not mean you have to have that opinion. Go do it for yourself. Have your own opinion. Share that opinion. Or don't share it, but share it if you want. But don't just repeat stuff without knowing. Give it a chance and then give your opinion. It might still be the same, but at least give it a chance. Here we got Taekwon Woe. Nice name. Skylanders needs to drop the figure requirements if it hopes to continue onwards as an existing franchise. Absolutely. Leaving it at that. Here we got Dan T Bros. Okay. Chompy Pods should have been at the beginning, and no one can tell me otherwise. Chompy Pods. I mean, it makes sense. You see the birth of a Chompy, and that's the first enemy you usually face. So no, I mean, I get it. We got another one by Rainstorm Riddles here. I think Nightfall is the best Dark Skylander, and yes, I've played all of them. Oh, you like all of the Dark Skylanders? Well, I dislike all of the Dark Skylanders and Light Skylanders, other than Astro Blast. I don't like the elements alone. I don't like Light and Dark elements. I think they were a stupid addition. It was really random. It was unneeded, and we already had dark variants, so it already confused that. So now you have dark element and dark variant. So are they associated with each other? No. So I don't know. It would have been cool if Dark Spyro could go in a dark elemental, and get power, and it doesn't make sense. I don't like the Dark Skylanders. I don't like any of them, not just because they're the dark element, but I just don't care for them. I would probably say Nightmare is probably the best. I don't like Blackout for sure, but Nightfall is probably my least favorite Dark Skylander. But all the power to you that you're able to like them. This next one's by Sam Katz 123. The bright, bubbly art style of SWAT Force isn't Skylanders. Well, I hate to break it to you, it is Skylanders, but I understand where you're coming from because I didn't like it as a kid either. I didn't like it at all. It's the Vicarious Visions, I don't know, style that they went with, because it's the same thing for Superchargers. But I do understand what you're saying. I do like the original 2 games looks better. Imaginators looks really good, even though it's bubbly too, but they kind of took both and kind of smashed them together for Imaginators. Imaginators is the best looking game as long as you don't look at the NPCs, like the Skylander NPCs, like Eruptor and Gilgrunt, because for some reason they have 0 rendering and they look like clay. Don't understand that. I played on my PS5 and it still looks like doo-doo. But I do understand what you're saying here. It isn't Skylanders, but it is Skylanders, but I understand the disconnect. Oh my gosh, another Blastermind comment. Blastermind is one of the best Skylanders. No, that's just not true. That's just not. Maybe creative, sure, but no, not one of the best. This one's by Drac. Okay. PvP was the best thing about Skylanders, and I stopped playing after Trap Team because they removed it. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I never played Trap Team. Oh my gosh, what? I never played PvP. You threw me off by saying Trap Team. I never played PvP up until I started making content. Because you want to know why? I had nobody to play with. Nobody. Until I introduced Elizabeth back into Skylanders and we played together. But it is very cool, but it gets very tiring. I don't think it's the best thing. It's a cool feature, especially for kids. I think it's really cool, and I would love to see it come back. But it's not the best thing, and I don't think it's a reason you should have stopped playing Skylanders. But I guess if you have siblings or whatever, and that was a core memory, you guys love doing that together, then I guess I understand. This one's by Matt. SWAT Force wasn't that bad. SWAT Force wasn't bad at all. This one's by Amiibo Cool Guy. Hot take. Skylanders Imaginators has the best character rooster. What? Yes, I know you meant roster, but no. Maybe. It's close. There's a lot of awesome Skylanders in. All the senseis are awesome. They're the best looking figures by far. But I think SWAT Force has the best roster. But it's tough. Because all the characters are so well known in Imaginators. So well known. But I think Imaginators and SWAT Force are hand in hand. They're both great rosters. This one's by Chris. Hot take. Skylanders Imaginators is the best game in the saga. I mean, if that's your opinion, sure. But it definitely has the most things lacking, like an interesting story. Other than that, the combat is like the best in the series. Imaginators combat is the best in the series. Creating your own Imaginators is really cool. For the first couple Imaginators you create. If you create one Imaginator of each battle class, you'll have the time of your life. But if you start creating multiple, then you realize how repetitive it gets because you end up with the same moves, like I said earlier in the video. But it is a great game. This one's by Francisco. Rollerball is the best Skylander from the first 3 games. Giants and swappers excluded. She is fast, strong, and the headbutt is elite. I think that in 1v1, I'd win every game with her. She's pretty good. But I hate to break it to you. In PvP, Bumble Blast absolutely destroys her. Because her big thing is speed, right? Her big thing is speed. And he has the ability to slow everybody down. And then he just pummels them with bees. But I will say Bumble Blast is better than Rollerball. But Rollerball is amazing. I'm glad you excluded Giants. And actually, she's better than all the Giants. Just because of how fast she is. Sorry, people who have nostalgia to the Giants. But Rollerball is better than the Giants. And Swappers, there's at least 3 or 4 Swappers who are better than her. So you excluded them too. But Rollerball, amazing Skylander regardless. Oh, this time we have Francisco. We had Francesco. We had Francisco. Okay. For me, Shroom Boom is the worst core from Giants. And Sprocket is not that bad. I agree with that statement. I mean, when I did my Giants 10-year anniversary video, I ranked all of the cores, all the Giants, all the levels, whatever. A lot of stuff. If you haven't watched it, go watch it. But I think Shroom Boom rated the worst on everything. Other than, like, me not liking. I don't like Sprocket. Like, I like Shroom Boom better than I like Sprocket. But I'd probably rather use Sprocket, to be honest. I just don't care for Shroom Boom. I don't like any of his attacks. All right, next one we got here is / member. Thank you very much for being a member. You have like 5 hot takes for me here. Oh man, we're starting off with Head Rush. I'm getting a head rush about what you're about to say. If you don't say that she's the worst Skylander, Head Rush is actually a great Skylander. Nope. All right. See you later. All right. We'll actually give it a chance. Head Rush is actually a great Skylander with good mobility. Okay, you are just messing with me now. Mobility is terrible. And great damage output. / are you okay? Like, internally. This is the most outrageous thing I've ever heard. Damage, her stomps are fine, but all of her attacks are terrible. Terrible. Her main attack is terrible. Her charge is terrible. You can hardly control it. It's like driving backwards with no wheel. It's terrible. I can't say terrible enough. She's horrible. She's not enjoyable. She's not good. And I think 95% of the people here will agree with me. Comment down below if you agree that / has lost his mind. Next one, Giants has by far the worst and underutilized gimmick. Well, that's just not true. It's the swap force. It is 1000% the swap force. You do not need to use, like, you don't need to swap, which is the gimmick, to beat the game. Well, or do anything. It doesn't do anything. Swapping doesn't do a thing other than allows you to play the swap zones, but that's not even connected to like the main story. The Giants, people are so wrong that they say this, but Giants are utilized more than Trap Masters. They are utilized more than the swap force. They're utilized more than senseis. They're utilized, I mean, SSA, you can't even say anything. What am I missing a gimmick here? Superchargers. Well, superchargers are just mandatory to do a lot of things. So actually the Giants are probably one of the most utilized because you got feats of strength and you got a bunch of other stuff, lifting boulders and stuff like that. And it's just a good gimmick. But it is very utilized. When people say it's underutilized, compared to the other games, it's one of the most utilized. You can do the most things with it. You break through walls. You ain't got to use bombs. They're just big. They destroy everything that the little characters have to get things to destroy for it. So that is just wrong. That's not even an opinion. You're just wrong. Trap Team's gimmick was cool on paper, but was executed horribly. I agree. The trapping aspect is cool. The Trap Team, it didn't make a whole bunch of sense. it would have made sense better if they dealt with it like Superchargers, the game after, where like if to trap an enemy. I keep hitting my microphone. I'm getting angry over here. No, I'm just kidding. But it would have made more sense if you had to trap a villain. You had to have a trap master on the portal with a trap. They're the trap team. They're not called, like, the cores aren't the core trap team. Like, what? No, they're not part of the trap team. I shouldn't be able to trap something without a trap master. So I do understand that one. And the elemental gate thing is stupid. They just added that in so they did something. The combat and gameplay in Imaginators is one of, if not the most fun in the entire series. Agree. On to the next. Threat Pack deserved a spot in Imaginators. He was a great Skylander in Trap Team, or a great character in Trap Team. He was a side character though. He's overpowered in the turret sections. If you guys haven't switch to Threat Pack before you go to a turret section in the Sky Highlands, and he destroys everything so easily. It's great. All right, next one here is by Hungry Panda. SSA wasn't as good as a game as you remember. It's slow and long. There are better Skylander games out there. Okay, you got 2 parts, so I'm gonna take the first part first. SSA, it's just as good as I remember. I still love that game. And it's not fueled by nostalgia. It's just a good game. It's a perfect children game. And it's even better as an adult when, like, I have my consciousness now and I know what I'm doing. And, like, I just enjoy SSA. From every aspect of SSA is a fun game. I'm not saying it's the best Skylanders game because, yes, it has aged poorly in some aspects. But that mostly the Wii version has aged really poorly. The 360 and PS3 versions are holding up a little better, but it's just the graphics. It was just its time. It was just a great, fantastic, perfect game for its time. But you can't judge a thing now based on back then. Like, it's fantastic, and it's still good now. Next. Superchargers and Trap Team are the best. Despite the bugs, they were good games. Superchargers was the second game. They gave Hugo a role. 2nd out of 6. Yeah. I mean, Hugo had a role in SWAT Force for the opening cutscene. That's about it. I won't say they're the best games, though. I mean, I get Trap Team is a lot of people's favorites. It used to be mine, too. But it's repetitive over time. And I don't know. I don't know. It's just not super fun to me anymore. It's fun, but not like, it's not like Imaginators fun to me or Swap Force fun to me. And Superchargers is just a selective game. If you buy in, like, if your mind likes Superchargers, you're gonna think it's you're probably gonna think it's the best game. If you enjoy that gimmick, but if you don't enjoy that gimmick, you're not gonna like the game. So saying it's the best is just, it's the best for a certain audience. Trap Team is the best for a lot of people, so I understand it. All right, here we got the one grapey? Sure. Roller Brawl is the best core in Swap Force. 2nd best, right behind Bumble Blast. Go Grunt did not need 5 figures out of 6 games. You're right, he needed 6. Superchargers had the worst gimmick. Yeah? Yeah. Yeah, because core Skylanders, or like any other Skylander, can drive vehicles. So what's the point of the Superchargers other than giving a little boost? I can agree with that. And the console exclusives are justified to being console exclusives. Yeah, I mean, it's just the 2 Nintendo characters that are console exclusives. A lot of people think that Crash Bandicoot and Neo Cortex are PlayStation exclusives. They're not. So if you have an Xbox and you've thought that, you can go get them. They're 2 of the most cheap characters. I literally have Inbox 2-pack right here. I got for like $15 at my used game store. You guys saw me unbox it. I mean, not unbox it, but like get it from a used game store. And then like the loose figures they're like, I don't even know, like $10 each, $8 each. It's because they're not very good. But anyways. All right, now we're going to come down on this last few for this episode. Yes, there's going to be a part 2. And depending on how many, maybe part 3. I don't know. There was like 300 comments on this thing. Eric Crookshanks, we got a member. Thank you for being a member. I appreciate you. You've been a member for a while. I've seen your name like crazy since the beginning of my channel. Anyways, Imaginary story is bad, but the characters are fun to play as. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. That you said it perfectly. This one's by BBJB. Hoodsickle was great in Trap Team and disappointing in Imaginators. All right, we'll split this up. Hoodsickle, I did not like him in Trap Team. His main sickle attack is so slow. Yes, it does massive damage, but it's very slow. And then his dash move doesn't go very far. I understand that you're supposed to dash like dash, 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 and you have the little ghost floating around. And then when you use the sickle move, it explodes them all, and you do massive damage. Great. It's just a process up to do one attack. And he was disappointing in Imaginators. I like him more in Imaginators because there's more to do with him in Imaginators. I don't think he's one of the best in Imaginators, but I understand. Graveclobber is underwhelming in Trap Team and phenomenal in Imaginators. Like, amazing for y'all. Yeah, I can agree. Graveclobber is not very good in Trap Team, but he is the most powerful Skylander of all time. That's just how it is. He does like a combo that's over 950 damage. It's insane. All right, we're going to go down to our last two now. I'm just going to choose two here. We got Diddy Tacos. Drobot is overrated. His design is cool. He is pretty iconic, but he's not that fun. He doesn't have a fun or diverse play style, as you just hold down your primary button, and he gets really boring quickly. And while he is really good for smaller enemies, he is incredibly good. He is not incredibly good for bigger enemies. I agree with this. I really do. Drobot is amazing if you want to beat the game. I don't think he's bad at big enemies, but he's not fast, and his flight is really hard to control, and it's not very good. There's something about his flight that I just don't like. The blades I'll throw out every once in a while if I'm really feeling spicy. I don't know. But yes, holding down the lasers gets boring. I will say that. But it is fun to destroy everything on the screen. All right, this next one's by Crypt Crusher. There's no such thing as a bad Skylander. If you think a Skylander is bad, you're probably just bad at the game, bro. Well, bro. Yeah, I agree. I kind of agree. But I think it depends how you define bad when you say bad Skylander. Are you saying bad as in they moveset's terrible and they don't do damage, stuff like that? Like statistically bad? Or are you saying bad because you don't like them? Like, I would say Sprocket's bad because I don't have fun with them. But I don't think she's bad overall. So it depends how you define bad. But I do understand where you're coming from. Like, here, I'm going to bring Blastermine back. Blastermine, I think he's bad because he lacks a ton of damage. And he's just, I don't know. He's not boring, but he's bad due to lack of damage, lack of health. Statistically bad. Sprocket, not statistically bad. Boring because she's bad because she's boring. Two different bads. But I understand what you're saying, and I agree. All right, last one for today. Jacob Skylands, what are you going to end us off on? You got a two-parter. My hot take: Spyro's Adventure is and will be the best Skylander, or always will be the best Skylander game. It's the most iconic. I will say that. It is the Skylanders game. Like, it is Skylanders. I don't think it's the best Skylanders game, but I understand what you're saying. And the second part, that doesn't say Imaginators, but I understand. Imaginators, on the other hand, is the weakest of the series. Yeah. Sadly. Even though I enjoy Imaginators a ton, and I could play it a ton, it is probably the weakest. And I know a lot of people will say Giants is the weakest because they think it's a DLC to Spyro's Adventure. And there's no DLC, like no adventure packs. Yeah. I'm thinking about this one. I would say it's either Imaginators or Giants is probably the weakest, just because, no. Oh my gosh, I can't put Giants there. Giants just lacks post-game. Like, it's not even that. Because they have arenas and heroic challenges still. But there's no adventure packs. That's what I don't like about Giants. But overall, Imaginators is the weakest of the series. Alrighty, so that is going to wrap it up for this part. This will get wrapped up in part 2, so make sure you keep an eye open for part 2 of reviewing your guys' Skylander hot takes. This was pretty fun. I love getting your guys' opinions. It's great. Everybody that I read here was respectful. I appreciate that, and I'm looking forward to continuing this with a part 2, and I hope you guys are too. If I didn't get to your comments, hopefully I will in the next one. Other than that, make sure you check out my link tree in the description of this video. Check out the Discord, the Instagram, the Twitter, the other YouTube channel where I've been playing Marvel's Ultimate Alliance playthrough, and I'm going to be playing other games on a playthrough and streaming over there as well. You get YouTube shorts through the wazoo over there. Just building that channel up. I would appreciate it if you guys subscribed here and there. Other than that, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys later.